Good morning, everyone. Most especially to our instructor, Ma'am Lumina More. We are the Group 4 and today we're going to report the Chapter 6 Philippine Financial System. By the way, I'm Crystal Anrolida Colonia and I am the first reporter who will tackle the topic about sign of growth in domestic market. So, in recent years, growth in financial intermediation is observed in the three major segments of the Philippine financial system. So, first is the Philippine banking system has been consistently posting double-digit asset growth since January 16. Latest data show that total resources of the banking system amount to 15.3 trillion as end of March 2018, an 11.3% increase from the previous year's level of 13.8 trillion. So, as we can see here in the figure A, selected balance sheet accounts of the banking system. So, this is the year-on-year change. So, makita na to there is graph is starting sa January 16, but wala may January 16 there is. So, sa March 9. Starting sa March 9 is consist na siya og double-digit percentage as of end of March 2018 from 11.3% of 13.8 trillion nisaka siya og 15.3 trillion as the end of kanang 2018. And then next is B. Meanwhile, total asset of the insurance industry more than doubled from 2008 to 2016. Although there was a 2-year slowdown after 2013, the growth rebounded in 2016, posting an 11.2% increase. Moreover, there has been a steady increase in the year preceding Typhoon Yolanda 2013. So, as we can see in the figure B, total asset of the insurance industry in Philippine billions. So, makita natin sa graph sa figure B is ang banking system ana nga year which is 2008 to 2016, ang total sa assets sa insurance industry is more than double. Even though na siya years nga slow down tungod sa Bagyong Yolanda, which is na experience man po nato most especially sa Luzon, where where dito siya nag-slow down kay ang mga crop unta nga dapat export into another country is wala siya na-export because of the calamity. But then, way back in 2016 is ni balik og growth ang total assets sa Philippines kay na okay naman ang tanan. And that's all. We proceed to the next report.
So good evening, everyone. We will be continuing the first reporter. So from the past report, we have talking about the sign of growth in domestic market by the two Philippine banking system and insurance industry. So the third one is the securities market. So the bond market in particular is comprised mostly of peso dominated government issued securities. So makita ninyo sa graph nga ang pinakataas nga na outstanding amount is for the end of March 2018. Nag-grow na siya till to 7.1%, reach USD 117.2 billion. So next we have the regulatory landscape. So let's talk about the letter A, the alignment with the global standard. So the BSP or the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas has released a circular number 975 last October 2017. This circular streamlined the requirements in issuance sa mga bonds and commercial papers here sa itong country by the banks or the quasi-banks. And also there is another release of circular number. This is the circular number 984 and the 985. This was released in December 2017. So it is to further runs of liberalizing and liberalizing the foreign exchange regulatory framework para ma-regulate ang mga ang foreign exchange sa atong country. So letter B, the key priority, familiar man mo sa Insurance Commission or IC. So the key priority ana niya is the adoption of international reporting practices. So in IC daw nag-prepare og implementation sa Philippine Financial Standards by kanang mga financial report council. Nagbuo sila council nga maghatag sa financial report nga ma-apply into the insurance companies. So letter C, the Security of Exchange Commission. So it approved amendments, ginatawag og Security Regulation Code or SRC. Kana siya, it is a corporation code nga nagasupport og mga bills and regulating collective investment, mga schemes like to enhance local regulation and to confirm to international practices. So we all know that SEC is the one who kanang regulate mga businesses and companies here sa Philippines. So letter D, for its part, that PDIC entered into a cross-board partnership. So it is in a way of memorandum of understanding or MOU with 8 deposit insurance agency from Asia, UK, and US. So that's all for my report, and let's continue to the next reporter.
Deepening capital markets. Various financial products have been introduced to the different segment of domestic market aimed at providing alternative options for raising funds or for investing money. This includes dollar-denominated securities, exchange-traded funds, green bonds, personal equity and retirement account, Philippine Government Fund Forward, public and private partnership shares, and real estate investment trust. Furthermore, the Security of Exchange Commission or SEC has initiated reform on minimum public ownership, repurchase agreement, and shelf registration that underscore the need for improved liquidity in the market and the importance of price discovery. The SEC is also finalizing its rules governing the crowdfunding market. Meanwhile, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas or BSP, Bureau of Treasury, and SEC, with the support of DOF, rolled out in August 2017 the roadmap to accelerate the development of the Philippine debt market. The three agencies, which comprise the Capital Market Working Group, agreed to prioritize deepening of the local bond market, creating reliable financial benchmarks and violation of financial instrument, and establishing an integrated financial market infrastructure or FMI.
Topic is financial stability assessment of the Philippine financial system. So, financial stability is preventive in nature because it needs to mitigate the buildup of system while dislocation before these vulnerabilities take concentrate form. With financial markets constantly evolving, it is, however, not clear what past data can tell about future condition. So next is financial stability clearly understood to reflect a well-functioning financial market addressing the financial needs of shareholders and avoiding distortion. So, financial stability refers to the ability of the financial system to properly function.
Okay, good evening everyone. So the continuation of our reporting, and this is my part. The topic is current risks in the Philippines national financial system. So local intermediation continues to be peso funded but with some support from foreign currency or FCY sources. The total loan portfolio of the banking system increased significantly over the years and is principally funded by peso deposits. Looking at the spot and forward rates in the currency and interest rates market, the incentives would have been to borrow in the Philippine peso and to invest this in US dollar instrument. Yet this is not the case, and instead banks have increased their FCY debts to augment the growth in domestic currency loans. Let's continue. This can be validated in figure 3.3, which shows that borrowings of the Philippines banks from BIS reporting jurisdiction have increased to USD 11.7 billion US dollar. As of the year December 2017, this can only mean that Philippine banks wants to maximize the benefits of taking on added credit risk in Philippine peso term, and they say as manageable the cross-currency risk from sourcing the incremental funds from FCY loans. Okay, and thank you for listening. That's all my topic. And to continue, together with my classmate. Thanks, guys.
My topic is current risk in the Philippine financial system, the developments in the credit market. The local intermediation, it continues to be peso funded but with some support from foreign currency, which is the FCY sources, and then the total loan portfolio of the bank system is increased significantly over the years. In figure 3.1, it states that the total loan portfolio in March 1999 to September 2015, it has an average of 13.1%, and in the September 2015 to May 2018, it's become 18.2%. Looking at the spot and forward rates in the currency and interest rate markets, the incentive would have been borrow in Philippine peso and to invest this in US dollar instruments. Yet, this is not the case, and instead, banks have increased their FCY debts to the growth in domestic currency loan, which is in figure 3.2 shows the bank sources and uses of funds for the 1-year period from December 2016 to 2017 in billion peso, which is the peso deposit sources is 1,000 billion and the equity accounts is 200, and then the foreign funds from RBU, bill payable and other liabilities and cash and due from banks is below 200 billion. And its uses in the peso loans, it records 1,200, and then the peso investment 400, and the other assets and RBU asset, it is below 200. This can be validated in figure 3.3, which shows that the borrowings of Philippine banks from BIS reporting jurisdictions have increased to USD 11.17 billion as of end of December 2017. This can only mean that the Philippine banks want to maximize the benefits taking on added credit risk in the Philippine peso. So that's all. Thank you.
Current risk in the Philippine financial system. So, this can be validated in figure 3.3. So, inyo makita diri sa tuo nga side, no? That this shows that borrowing of Philippine banks from BIS reporting jurisdiction has increased to 11.7 billion US dollars as of the end of December 2017. So, this can only means that the Philippine banks was to maximize the benefits of taking added credit risk in the Philippine peso terms, and they see as manageable the cross-currency risk in sourcing the incremental funds from FYC loans. So diri sa figure 3.3 makita nimo from um manabot gid siya og 11.7 million at the end of kanang December 2017. Next is this A, continuous demand of credit by corporate enterprises and household is evident to domestic economy.
So, this founding strategy is clearly positive vote to local economic activity, especially non-financial corporation or NFS and household account for a significant portion of the incremental loans provided by the banking system. As a matter of fact, firms listed in the PSE 15 exhibit a rising debt to equity ratio from about 45% in 2008 more than 86% as end of March of 2018. No, makita po nato sa figure 3.4 PSE debt to equity ratio. So nagsugod diri sa 44.3. So pag abot na nato diri sa kuan na abot siya og 86%, 86.95%.